Our sponsors this week is the Heritage Chippy, best salt and pepper box in Liverpool. Free Chinese meals for £15 every Wednesday. Every Monday, all burger meals at our price. Give them a follow. Thanks.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Billy Moore podcast with a special guest, Lee Butler. Thanks, Lee. Thanks
You
for
actually
coming
look a little bit harder than you do on the on your Instagram page.
Do I?
Yeah, it's
I get
impressive that.
So yeah, let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you've been on podcasts before, and
I've done a couple. Yeah,
you shared your story. But I feel I've come across you years ago, really, with your dad, and then it was Lee, and then it was the Ravens days and all that stuff. So, you know, and you're an old school Liverpool legend. So,
thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Grew up in Knighton. Just a normal lad. Was in Malvern, Page Moss. Left school, didn't know what I wanted to do. And then ends up doing an electrical installation course in New Bird. Got through all of that. Didn't really know what I was doing. I was a spark for a bit when I was like 18, 19, 1988, 89.
Yeah.
Mum and Dad moved up to Blundell Sands, which was a bit of a sharp move for me. So I was a little bit off the rails, and 89 came, and the whole acid house and rave scene sort of kicked off. And that was me then. I was just swept away then. I wanted to down tools and become a DJ. My mum and dad split up, and that, I think, led me to going off the rails a little bit more as well. And when 89, 90 came, 88, probably 89, 90 in the illegal raves and the early house and rave scene, I was just up and down the country at all these illegal raves, and obviously started taking ecstasy and all that huge, like, sort of wave of this brand new scene, really, that to everybody. You know, lots of people ask me nowadays, you know, do you think it's what made it so much more special then? And I think the simple answer is that we'd never heard it before, and there's something unique about the first time. You know, like, I get that asked a lot. People say to me, do you know, well, do you think it's as good for the young kids now as it was for us back then? Yeah, probably, but not the same, because they've grown up probably listening to us playing it. Yeah. My kids have all heard house beats since they were born. Yeah. And lots of young people will have had their brothers and sisters playing in them songs, which is why you have such a love for the old school, especially in Liverpool, because you play Show Me Love or Three As Family or Beat It or Enjoy Anthem to any 18-year-old, you know all the words, but they were never there. No. And that's the great thing. But I think there was something unique about that first wave of acid house and that whole new music that we'd never ever heard it before, and that accompanied with, you know, 89, 1991 and the ecstasy and stuff like that. It was very special to a lot of people, and that can't be recreated.
I like to see. I totally agree with how it was back then and how I felt back then. You know what I mean? I stood in like the queue in the state. I was waiting in line. You'd have your tablet prior to going in, and you'd be dancing in the line, and then, you know, and it was all fun and games at that age, but there was consequences going forward. And I get the scene. It is at that time, because all that music today is timeless, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It is, yeah. And when I'm putting events on now, there is a little divide between, like, the older generation, like my age, 50, 40-year-olds who went back then, whether it was the Quad in 1991, whether it was the State 93, 95, whether it was the Buzz, whether it was the 051 after that, whether it was Paradox, Cream, Garland, Society, and they're all in their 40s now, and I do these events, and some of the 20, 21-year-olds are there. Yeah. You get a divide now, people saying they shouldn't be there, like, how come they're there? We want these nights just for us. And a lot of the young ones get tarnished with a bad brush sometimes, you know, like, but as you've just said, it's timeless. You know, I do lots of private parties, whether it's an 18th or a 40th or a 50th or a wedding, and all the young ones know all the words to the songs, and they know them because
Black Box and Pump Up the Jam, and
they've been brought up with them, and they're timeless. And I think a lot of the music nowadays, it's not timeless, is it? It's very much in the moment, and it's been and gone quite quickly.
Popping, it's gone.
Yeah. And so that whole era there, I was just, you know, I was completely swept away by it, completely and utterly. And then the Quads and Park landed in 1991. And, you know, they were probably the most special times. Anyone who went to the quad in 1991 will know. It was just like...
I got knocked back on the door the first time I went and never went back again.
Honestly?
Yeah, I never went to 051. I tell you where I went, Lee, and you probably know these at the time, like Images.
Yeah, see, that's really, like, sometimes when I'm on my radio show, I'll ask people to get in touch, especially every morning. We do this 9 till 10 hour, which is just all old school, and I say, hit me with your memories, you know, let me take you away to another place, let me open the musical door, because that's what the music does. That one track can open a door, and in front of that door is just an old nightclub or an old person, you know, a memory of your old crowd, and you can instantly be transported with that one track. And Images pops up a lot, and not a lot of people remember it.
I remember it well. I was there every weekend, every Friday. I'd go there on a Saturday, it'd be the State. They probably, I like the Pen and Wig.
Yeah.
And
there's lots of others, like Plumbers on Arbon Street gets a couple of mentions sometimes. There was Birdie's Bar up there as well. And
what about the bar by the Adelphi underneath? What was it called?
Scott's, it turned into, but back then it was called...
I think it was called Fridays.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, Fridays, yeah.
So there's lots of them little pockets of venues that don't get the recognition that the likes of the State, the Buzz, the 05, the Cream. Yeah. There's lots of other little pockets of venues.
The what was it called? The Pleasure Rooms.
The Pleasure Rooms was like a big Scouts venue, And you had Rio's. You ever remember Rio's? Rio's was in town, which is just off Wood Street, which was brilliant as well.
Yeah, I never had a good time in town most of the time because I couldn't handle my ale and I couldn't handle my patience and my aggression, and I was always in trouble, so I was always getting arrested. So it was never a good time for me. And
do you know what, Bill? You touched on something there that lots of people always ask me, and like you know, nowadays we feel like we're living in this world of like loads of violence in nightclubs, whether it's like knives or, and people say to me, you know, it's not like, you know, we didn't get all that aggro back then when we years ago. It was all about like love and taking ease. But you know, when you look back, Bill, it's not right because there was some heavy fucking violence in the early. Like people say to me, you know, like, it's not like that. Enough say there's an incident in town now. Obviously, with social media, it gets miles more.
Yeah.
There was no social media in 89, 1991, 2, 3, 4, 5 even. 6 even when I started the 051 and 96. There was no Instagram or Facebook. So if you had a bad night or there was aggro or there was a big scrap, it wasn't all over people videoing it. So I actually think it was more violent back then. If I think back, you know, the Quadrant Park, although it was amazing as it was, it shut down in 1991 because of trouble.
Yeah,
because
people were getting
ads off. Of course they were. Of course they were. And a lot of that generation who hold them special memories so tight to them, they don't want to admit it. But like when I was in the State in 93 to 92 to 95, God, there was some barneys in the State. I mean, the State had it all. Everyone had their own spec. You'd have the North Enders on one side.
Shootings on the door and everything. Yeah. So people...
Kiss Receive, you know, that's a legendary clip on online now on YouTube, but it's been dubbed over. But there was shootings there. Then I went to Buzz and like, there was absolute mayhem in the Buzz. And like, you know,
she what interests me, like she like being a DJ, and I've worked a little bit of this over my lifetime. I've done a little bit of everything really, but she like, did you ever come across any violence? Was you subjected to anything? Did you have to like protect yourself because you're there in the limelight? You've got to entertain the masses. Happening, they are masses, aren't they?
Not from the crowd. No. I've never had any aggro from the crowd. I've been in some sticky situations which would be hard for me to talk about, but I'll try and without dropping any names in it.
I'll mention no names, that's it.
So when I was in the State, and I left the State in 95, and I was there 3 years, and it was like me baby. It was like my first break wasn't there. I was DJing in social clubs and like I'd done the Phoenix and Canny Farm for like 8 years when I was like 18, 19, playing like Come On Eileen, Third Finger Left Hand, all like just party stuff, done Eighton Labour Club, and that's where I used to earn me money to get me money to buy me vinyl for where I wanted to be. So when I got me spot in the State in 92 to 95, I left the State and went to Buzz, and they left the Buzz. When I went to Buzz, Ian Kane and the Canes had the Buzz. So they asked me to come there. They doubled me money. I was only on 50 quid at the State, and they said, we'll give you the 100 quid a night to come to Buzz. So I went over to Buzz, and I was only there 12 months. And I wasn't, from a clubbing point of view, a massive fan of the Buzz. If the State was like a real ballroom, a real underground feel to it. The Buzz was carpets, and it felt a little bit more Shannon and Tracy, and I wanted that real old school, like warehouse feel. But when I left the Buzz to go to 051, it happened because I had a flat in Bold Street, and I come out the flat, and John Lynch and John Como were garlands and and the 051 said to me, look, we're really keen on bringing you over the 051. Can you want to go for a coffee? So I ended up having a cup of tea and a cup of coffee with them, and they offered me the first like opportunity to earn some proper money, whereas when I was at the State and the Buzz, I was just on a wage, where these wanted to offer me deals to do
like contracts.
Yeah, just basically, you know, we want you to be involved in the night, the themes of the night, your events. There's door deals there. The more you put in, the more you learn.
Yeah.
So I'd done a deal to go the 051, but I had to go and tell the lads at the Buzz, and it got a bit sticky. And that's the first time I've ever been really scared, because they didn't want me to go.
Yeah.
And it's probably as far as I can take it, really. But I had a bit of a sticky situation, only that I had such a good relationship with the lads on the door at the Buzz that they were really understanding with me, because I think, you know, he didn't want me to go, put it that way, and I had to go and meet the lads, and the big lads on the Buzz. And
see, back then, like, you know, the bouncers then, aren't they? It's what they're called, aren't they? You know, they all stood up for each other, you know, most of the time, you know what I mean? So, you know, was you getting a bit of backup?
Yeah, and they were good with me. They were good with me, and they went, look, you know, we've been given a message to not let you leave under no circumstances.
Yeah.
And my ass fucking absolutely fell out. And he said, but Lee, you know, you're a good lad, and if you've done a deal with them, you know, just get on your way. And when I went to Buzz, he bought me a car.
Was this because, like, you'd moved on?
Yeah, and he didn't want me going to the rival club.
So this is like you know, territorial stuff now.
Yeah, he didn't.
Like,
and there was
DJs.
back in them days, there was really none of these clubs got on with each other.
Yeah.
Like the 05 didn't get on with the lads at the Buzz at all, whether it was the owners or the door.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't get on at all. Like, all the lads who were on the Buzz, and I got on great with them, Franny and all them lads. And like all the South Enders that had the door, I got on really well with them, and I ended up in parties with them and everything. And then
like Desi and all that on the
Desi and Peter
Franny,
Benson and like Big John and all the lads that were on the
Savo, a lot,
all of them, I got on all right with them. And when I left there, I went the 051. Them two doors just didn't really get on very well at all. Like, so
the North End and the South End,
yeah, at all. And then they had quite a few run-ins between themselves, like over the years to come. And so that was the only really scary position I was in, was where I was like, I felt very intimidated, but luckily the lads were like...
Did you ever think to yourself after like that experience that, you know, is this really for me? Do I want to get involved in this? Like, because it's like I said before, the territorial stuff, you belong here. This is how it is, lads. You're here, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know
when I
mean?
went in it,
do you feel like you were getting bullied in that way, in a sense?
That very, very, very one moment is the only moment when I've ever felt like I felt threatened a little bit, but only because I had that relationship with them that they said, look, you know, we think a lot of you. You're our mate.
Yeah.
If you've done a deal, just go now.
Yeah.
And I got off, and there was a little complications with it, because when I left the State and I went to Buzz, there was like, he went, you know, I'll get you there was a car involved to leave, and
there's more benefits.
The lads told me, like the lads when they met me, that the bouncers, as you say, that were on the Buzz, he went to me, look, you need to give us the car back.
Yeah.
So I lost my car, and but I went the 051, and that was the best move I made, because financially and everything that come with it, you know, some of the nights we created with Dave Graham and stuff like that was like...
It's fucking sad, really, because I never got the...
I've never told that story, and I hope it doesn't get me in any trouble, but...
No, I can't see it getting you in trouble.
It's tongue in cheek. It was like, everyone was good to me, and like, but it was very, very scary at that specific moment where all them big lads were like, you know, you're not going, do you know that? And I was like...
I feel like I've missed out on a lot over the years, just due to like we'll go into this in a minute. Addiction, we have an addiction in different ways, and it takes us down different paths, and mine took me on a different route to yourself. But most of my time was spent behind a door, listening, you know, to like the likes of Radio City and all the hits.
Do you know when I had my first got my radio show on Radio City? It's like 20 years ago now. So the weekend show started, plastic surgery on Radio City, and the amount of text I used to get from
kids in a shovel,
unbelievable. Billy, honestly, I swear to you, I could have done a whole show just of like D-wing, this wing, that wing, can you do a shout? it was just, they used to flood in every weekend. I used to get loads of listeners, like that. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. You were listening to the music, unable to go out and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's fucking sad. Like, but you know, when you're out there and you know you do get the chance, you know, it is like a different experience, innit? But it always takes you back to the old experience for me.
It does, yeah, and it's music got lots of links like that. As I said to you before, you only need a certain song can take you back to an amazing dance floor or a laser or a podium, but it can also take you back to a bad place as well. It's the year and time. It's got a stamp date on it. It'll, you know, if you play something from 93, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You remember where you were and what you were doing.
Tell me if I'm right here, then. Tell me if I'm right, because I remember sitting in a fucking SE cabaret with a mate who was driving, and he died it right for the weekend, and he thought he was fucking cool. You know, with the elbow on the driver's, on the door, and the handle, you know, and we were playing Rides on Time.
Yeah, Black Box.
That must have been about 1989.
That was.
Yeah.
Hey, see, get on that there.
See, 1989.
Perfect train spotting abilities there, Billy, because it was 1989. And you know that record, like 88, 89, I was, all this acid house and rave music was kicking in, but that Black Box for me is the one standout crossover. That was the first big Italian piano anthem. Like, Black Box goes alongside the likes of Ginny Keep Warm, and which you'll remember if I sung you, and which you won't. But that was the one track that crossed over and went to #1 in the chart. And that was the first time that this scene had sort of broke into commercial stuff. And Black Box, for lots of people, was like, it was the one crossover track that if you weren't going to these illegal raves and these underground raves, or travelling up and down the country to find these like illegal like gatherings of people who were just loving this early acid house and rave music, you won't have heard it until Black Box.
Yeah.
Till Black Box broke and went commercial into the charts. Lots of a different generation went, wow, what's this? Big uplifting vocals, screaming vocals, massive pianos, big fucking 4/4 kicks. This is boss, this. What's this? And fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to talk about it, what was driven by that whole early scene was drugs.
Yeah. It
was.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you couldn't go to these illegal raves or the Codden Park in 1991 or the State in 92, 3, 4, 5. You know, I'm not saying you had to have drugs. There will have been loads who went and who didn't. But I would say the majority were taking ecstasy at that point.
And ecstasy back then, you'd only had to take one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Looking at it, I remember my first one, it was a Pink Echo. And we only had half between me and our kid. I was like, fucking hell, I was like sledging the lot.
Yeah, remember the sledge? Yeah, the sledge. You one of them sledges, were you? I was lucky, you know. Our Stuart, my brother, he's 6 years older than me. He was the big sledger out of us. I used to fume at him, and he used to say, "Stuart, fucking, you've been near enough asleep all night." And he'd go, "What?" I'd wake him up. We go to Codden Park, and then like, I'd go, "Where's our Stuart?" I'd go up the stairs, up the balcony, back down, back round, and I'd see a few people you knew, and I'd go, "Have you seen our Stuart?" They go, "Yeah, he's over there by the speaker," and he'd just be like. Just be there sledging his head off. Yeah. And like I'd say, like 2 o'clock would come and he'd get up and go. And half the time, back then, if you were a bit of a sledger and you went into a sledge, when you come out of it, you were flying. Yeah. But sometimes it was the end of the night.
Most of the time it was the end of the night for
me. But then you'd have like that big boss second wind and go, whoa, fucking hell. What's happening now? And you go, it's finished.
It'd be them and mixed, blended with a bit of MBS.
Oh, the trips.
Yeah, so it was like, they went hand in hand back then. You know, it was like the Rush, the fucking, the Ease, the MBS, and fucking your brandy and your Coke, and that was it, mate.
See, the trips, right? Remember the Coke? Do you ever go to Cokey? The Coconut Grove?
I know where it is, no, I never went. So most of these clubs I never went to because of fucking...
Yeah, so the Cokey, I remember we were taking trips, and that was like early 90s, the trips. Late 80s, early 90s was like...
The Micro Dots and all that.
Black Micro Dot, Conan the Barbarians. MBSs were the ones everyone had.
Yeah.
But you could go wrong on them, Bill.
Yeah.
You know, if you had a bike... If you were the type that was always prone to an argument when you were younger, then it's very unlikely you go into one off a trip. But I was always a little bit like... I thought the fucking world was looking at me and the ceilings were going to cave in. And we once went the Cokey. We parked our van. I had a little, at the time, it was like probably 1990. And I had an electrical van.
Yeah.
My dad said to me, "Yo, like, this isn't good enough, son." Like, Big Bad Billy said to me, "You know, what are you doing?" He said, "I've got a mate in Formby who's got an electrical company." He said, "And I'll set you up in business with him. So we did, and he bought me a van. He think he's trying to stop me going off the rails. He went like, you are in a spark, you've passed out on your like electrical installation course. Get back to doing that.
Yeah.
I went, all right, Dad. So he bought me this mini Metro, and it had like G&B electrical services on the back. And we parked it by the Cokie. We ended up coming out tripping, and I was convinced that this fellow was trying to break into my car. He was having a piss against my car, but it looked like he was trying to, he was holding his shopper, having a piss. But it looked like he was getting into my car, and I remember we were waiting and we watched him. He left the car, so that van I left that van in a rave up in Warrington, and we went in the van and then to this like illegal rave and forgot we'd got in it. Come home on a coach with a load of other people. Just about got out of that one. My dad said, "Where's the van?" And we said, "It's been robbed out the path." And the lad anyway ends up losing 2 vans, leaving them in parties, and like one in Blackburn, and I lost my job, and my dad was like disgusted with me. But them trips were ruthless.
So what happened? So you like over the years, like you've got the you're flying, right? It is what it is. You're flying, right? Comes hand in hand the drugs, right? So your life started to go a little bit fucking downhill as well, didn't it?
I think
really?
the reason lots of people, and I'm really public about it now, and I'm quite passionate about openly talking about my addiction and my recovery, and talking about it really, really brutally honestly. You know, I went through loads of different recovery groups and different counsellors till I found that unless I dealt with what I was thinking, the thoughts, what was making me use, then I couldn't deal with it. So I openly talk about them now, and all the pain that it brought me, because by doing that, I get people who reach out to me, lots of them who say listening to myself, like all the things you're saying, how it makes you, the paranoia, the weird, the wired, the like all of it. But when you ask, maybe you're asking me about where did my use, my social use turn into addiction, and I often do shares at recovery groups and like rehab places, like trying to help people and tell me story and take questions. And lots of the questions are like, do you regret starting to take drugs? And it's a dead difficult question for me, because what I won't do is lie to anybody regards me addiction or my recovery.
You don't want to start parroting information.
And so do I regret taking drugs? No. And that's a bold statement for someone who's had a really bad addiction and has come out the other side of it. But I'd be lying.
Yeah.
If I said I did, because in 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, and probably the early 90s, probably through to 96, them years, I was having a ball. I'd be lying to say if I come on and said, "Oh yeah, it was terrible, I wish I'd never fucking took them," because I had some of the best nights of my life. And you know what, Bill? Probably channeled my career through being like that. There's part of my following that gave me that momentum was being one of them, being one of the clubbers. I was there with them. I was taking these with them. I was getting lost on the dance floor with them.
Yeah.
People were going, "Lee's fucking great, isn't he?" And whether that's good or bad, or it's an ego thing, I don't know. But it was part of the reason that people could connect with me so well.
I think most of the time though as well, I've like on reflection, I've thought about it over the years, and I've been asked that question myself, was like, do I regret it? And I thought, well, if I could take drugs without a consequence, then I'd still be using now. But there has to be a consequence for me to stop.
Yeah, I've never thought of it like that, because if I think back to like them early years, I didn't have the responsibilities. I didn't have my wife. I didn't have my kids.
I think it's
I didn't have as much on my plate. Yeah. I mean, when you go on the quad in 1991, like, you were getting butterflies the day before. Yeah. Like you're talking about standing in the queue. It was like the be all and end all. You had to go. You had to go. You know what? Some of the things I've done, me and Stuart and me, to get the money, because we didn't have any money then either, because I'd lost my job, and my dad was like, "Yeah, you're off the rails," and they split up, and like
it became a job, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like it was the only thing. Getting into the quad of a Saturday was just a be all and end all. I remember saying on Andy Grant's podcast, you know, my mum had met this new fella, and he kept like £1 coins in a big whiskey jar, and he kept them in the airing cupboards, and we had no money. Me and our Stuart weighed them in up on the top of Church Street, and got it for 412 quid, thinking he would never notice. And he obviously there was murder in the house, and we blamed my mum.
As you do.
We blamed my mum. So, Mum, I'm sorry, and I think his name was Mick as well. We own 412 quid, but we just had to go. Yeah. We had to go. So do we regret all that? No. Was that part of me, you know, me learning and me career? Yeah, probably. But me use turned to abuse.
Yeah.
And when it got to like 96, 7, 8, 2009, and in the 2000s, more so than ever, ecstasy was on it. Like, people started using cocaine, and that's where my downfall was.
Yeah, the coke.
Yeah. The coke took me to a completely new place. Paranoia, letting people down, the inability to stop. With ease, you wouldn't take ease all night and all the next day and all the day after, and take them all night and all that. I could go 3 or 4 days when I was.
You couldn't sit in the house on your own with an E.
No. Drinking.
I did try it once, like, it wasn't fucking fun.
No, I've done that in the early 90s, but there comes a point where you take the knock.
Yeah.
With the coke, once I started snorting cocaine, it was a bad spiral downwards, really bad, and that's why I don't really have many positive high links to coke at all.
Yeah.
I have to ecstasy.
Well, that's what they say, innit? It's like the progression. We call it a progression. So you've progressed from the party drugs to like cocaine is sociably accepted in society when you're in clubs, but then when it becomes like you're sitting in the house on your own and you're using it and you're fucking window twitching.
Listen,
you know,
and that's all. And talking about that type of stuff, Bill, is dead important because when I do my Sunday support stuff in my videos, I call it my box of pain, and my box of pain got me clean and got me free for good. I'll never go back. I know I won't. I'll never pick a drink up again, and I'll never use a drug again. It's 4 years. I used it, you know, I went through a different way. I tried AA, I tried the 12 steps, and for me, I struggled with it because my use was that, like, I was that addictive. As soon as I started, I could not stop. Yeah. So I would go and it was affecting everything. My marriage was in tatters. I made terrible business decisions. Like, bought bars that I couldn't run. They got shut. I had to remortgage my house to get it. I left myself with a massive mortgage. My missus was on the verge of leaving me. I'd lost all trust because I'd go out Saturday, I'd come home Tuesday. But that was I was sitting in parties and mad places snorting. Like, weird and wired, paranoid. And like, I feel like you've got to put the shoe on the other foot. If that was my missus going out Saturday and coming in Tuesday, I'd have got what I got off air. Who have you been with? You dirty bastard. You liar. And so what happened in the end was I knew I was going to lose my marriage and my kids if I didn't stop, but my addiction wouldn't let me stop. So what it did was it stopped me staying out. My addiction just was like a home, bad recluse. I knew I couldn't, if I went anywhere afterwards, she'd go. So I then I'd go to work and I'd come home and I'd just sit there in mine.
Using in the house on your own.
Yeah. The telly would be on naught.
Uncomfortable using.
Oh, the pain that I can now see that I was, and the torture I used to put myself through. And me missus, and like sitting there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, even Tuesday morning, I'd still be getting it dropped off. I'd put outside the car, I'd have every tactic. I'd lie, I'd manipulate air. I'd say, I'm just going to shoot here, or the lad's got a knock, he needs some vocals for a remix. He'd knock with a CD and there'd be fucking an 8 in it. And then I'd crack on again and she'd go, you're at it again, aren't you? And it was just a world of torment. But like, when I look back, the way I was just sitting there with bottles of vodka, 10 cans of cider, anything that could get me.
You couldn't stop.
And I'd drink and snort, and I'd be paranoid, weird, be like in the house, taking photos of the back garden, thinking the police are in the garden, and like standing on top of the landing for 4 hours, thinking someone's in the hall. And like, when I look back at it, it makes me laugh. Not in like an egotistical way, but in a way that, because I can now see it for what it really was. Yeah. It flabbergasts me that
it's the insanity in it. You see it, the insanity of it. But it's, you know, when you see, you know, you just said it then. You'd go to any lengths to get and use and change the way you feel, right? It doesn't matter whether it was fucking wet or fucking dry. You'd get it. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what it boils down to. But yeah, I've had similar experiences in the past where I've done crazy things, and then I look back and I think, fucking hell, it was just insanity. You know what I mean? Yeah. So all that you're going on about, it's. How did you sort of pull away from that?
I knew that if I didn't change, I was going to lose everything.
Do you think that, see, some people, right, and I know it is what it is, yeah, some people have to lose everything. See, they talk about like, you rock bottom. Yeah. Well, some rock bottoms have trapdoors, so you're going, bang, there's your rock bottom, bang, you're going again. So you get to a rock bottom and go, this is it. I'm fucking rock bottom, I won't do that. That's a I'll definitely not go to them lengths. And then you get to them lengths and you think, well, as long as I'm not there.
Yeah, totally. And that's the way I was.
Yeah.
I pushed it with me missus. I pushed it with work. I was unreliable. I was unreliable. I was a letdown. I was inconsiderate. My priorities were all in the wrong place. I was never nasty. I was never like a nasty person or a violent person or like...
You were just powerless.
Yeah, totally. And so I stepped into recovery, and that's probably maybe 10, 11 years ago. And I went, first meetings I went to were AA meetings, and the steps, and I tried the steps for a while. And I've bear in mind, I've got friends who are like, have been saved by the 12 steps. So I always say, the more tools you can put on your toolbox for your recovery, the better. If you go and do the steps, but you feel like that's something...
Well, it becomes, I know this from your own experience, Lee, it becomes like us and them, like football teams. That fellowship's better than this fellowship, and that recovery, and that recovery pathway is better than this one. So
you're dead right.
You're in a divide then.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't.
Because I've got my good mate Robbie, he's like a counsellor now. Yeah. That's what he's gone into drug counselling and like mental health. And that's what a lot of the time when you actually break free and you get yourself to that better place where you know you're not going to go back. Helping others is like, I just think it's a massively big part. Yeah. I mean, it comes with it sometimes. But yeah, I've got mates who have been absolutely saved through the 12 steps. But for me, I was stuck in this terrible mental place of not understanding why, when I fucking hated where it was taking me, I knew what it was taking off me. I knew what I was about to lose. And I'd use Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'd take sleeping tablets to get asleep. I'd go and take the knock Monday night, Tuesday day, in a mess. I'd be blown into paper bags, still with heart palpitations. Took myself to Aussie because I can't catch my breath from snorting and drinking. Then when I've got home, I've just carried on because my heart stopped banging its head off. It's just like, I thought, I'm going to end up killing myself and I'm going to lose everything. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, when I'd be on a massive down, I'd come down, feel awful, the weight of the world on my shoulders. I couldn't think straight. Come Friday, after I'm promising all week to me missus, everyone around me, I'd say I've had enough. I couldn't go through that again what I went through last weekend. My bed's flipped. I ended up in my mum's drinking brandy in her bathroom, still snorting. And then my bed's let me back. And my missus had come home. And I've come home on Thursday. I'm sobbing. I'm crying my eyes out. So I was saying, I swear to you, that's it. I'm done. Saturday comes. And there's that little voice again. Yeah. Well, whether that was because of the job I was in made it harder. I had to go into a using environment with house music, dance music,
the party,
surrounded by people in the DJ box that would snort in front of me, that were all drinking. Maybe that made it harder for me, which maybe is what made me even stronger now. I've finally done it because I can go anywhere I want now. I can go. I've got no issues. I went to Quads Union. I can go to Boozer and watch the game with our Stewie. My beast, I call it. No, my beast doesn't talk to me no more. It doesn't try and trick me. It doesn't throw all the bells and whistles in my head. It just doesn't paint no pictures to try and make me fall for that picture, thinking I'm not going to go mad. I can drink again. Now, I did go 18 months clean 6 years ago. And when I lapsed, I was doing this new technique called AVRT, and it's just basically about learning to recognise your addiction when it talks to you. It's that simple. And it was the final key for me because I struggled every time I'd get a length of time clean. Yeah, I would get tricked to go back. And how I'd get tricked was I'd hear myself.
You'll speak to your own voice.
It's your own. Yeah. Your addiction, I call it my beast. It's got access to your thoughts. Now think of this beast as a paraplegic. It's got no arms and legs. Yeah. Right? It can't go to the shop and get the gear. It can't ring up. All it's got access to is your thoughts, your voice, and your images, so it can paint the best pictures. It can trick you with the bells and whistles. I'm not going to go mad. The match is on. You deserve it. It's only you're 6 months now. You won't go back to the way you were. You've learned. You deserve a little blowout. You fucking don't go nowhere. You're a boring cunt now. All this that you're hearing, it's your beast talking to you. And once I learned, I managed to separate the real Lee, the one that fucking knows every time I fall for this, I end up in this box of pain.
It's very insidious. That voice as well.
The beast, it's so tricky. It's so tricky because it can really convince you. It can really convince you that it's you.
Yeah.
And that's when you lose. I'd lose when this would talk to me. This would talk to me and I wouldn't get it early enough. I wouldn't recognise it and I wouldn't separate myself from it. And that was the key to AVRT. Addictive voice recognition technique was about recognising your addiction when it talks to you. Separate yourself from it. There's my beast chatting to me. It's saying this. It's saying, you're 6 months now, Lee. Why don't you just fucking have a little bevy? You'd be all right to drink. Don't have a line. Because that's how I lapsed every time. Was it tricked me to drink? And it knew once it got me to bevy, the beast got louder. I got weaker. I'd buckle.
Well, your inhibitions are low,
and so
once you're drinking.
Once I fully committed to never drinking again. It was the turning point for me, and learning to recognise and understand that my beast will talk to me. It will paint these pictures. Go on, Lee, you've only had a couple of fights on. You don't go nowhere. Get out. It'll put everything up there. The picture, shagging. Get your bird. Have a baby with your bird. Get your bird. And I fucking talk here into it as well. Get all the fucking naughty draw out. Fucking, it's better when you've had the line. It's better when, but it will. It doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. It will use good news, bad news, a death, a birth of a baby. Works good, works bad. The matches on, the fights on. She doesn't get it. I'm 3 months now. She's fucking no better with me. Fucking she doesn't get it. Just have a blowout. You deserve it. Just do it once a month. And when you've got an addiction, Bill, that isn't possible. There's no grey area. And I learned the hard way lots of times by lapsing. And what I realised in the end was, when I fall for this and it's painting this glorious picture and telling me I'm not going to go mad, I'll be in bed early, you're taking the kids out at 9:30, you're not going to carry on all night because you're going out with them at 9:30. It will use that to convince me I'm not going to carry on. And every time I start, I can't stop.
Yeah,
I cannot stop. There's no 2 or 3 lines for me in going to bed.
You're in the grip once you're in it.
I learned the hard way a lot of times. And it was heartbreaking when I lapsed. It's so painful, especially after 12 months and 18 months. Because what I realised in the end, Billy, was unless I start listening for this cunt,
keep nailing it.
I'm nailing it every time, recognising it, separating, understanding, and I built this massive box of pain.
I described it like in my first book about it was like living next door to a fucking serial killer, right? But this serial killer, you know, if you live next door to a serial killer, you'd want to know everything he's fucking doing, where he's going, what time he's going out, who he's meeting. Yeah. Right, so that was the kind of thing that was living in my mind. You know, it was never fucking, it was always on my mind.
Yeah.
You know, it was always speaking to me in my own voice. Mate, I got clean, right, in 2004. And I managed to maintain, like...
When you say that to me, it was always talking to me in my own voice, right? When I'm helping people and they first reach out to me and I'm trying to explain this technique to them and say to them, look, you need to start listening for your addiction because it will talk to you in your voice. And it's great to hear you say that because you get it. You totally get it. That it doesn't... Your addiction doesn't talk to you in a fucking St. Helens accent.
No.
Hey, I tell you what, Billy, why you fucking done well, you know, 3 months clean. Yeah. Fucking, and you deserve a little blowout. Just go and have a fucking 2 glasses of fucking lager and watch the first half. Yeah. You'll be home for half time and go to Chippy on the way home. If you believe that, because it's, you know, it's not in a woolly back accent. It doesn't speak to you in fucking Spanish accent. It's your voice. So it's very easy to think, oh yeah. And as soon as you interact with it, that's when it gets harder. As soon as you start going, oh yeah, because then it'll start painting more pictures. John's going to be there. You haven't seen him for ages. Go and have a good bevy with him. Yeah. And before you know it, this picture's fabulous.
Yeah, I've done it. I've sat there, Lee, and I've sat there and I knew, right. It was like I'm going through a lot of feelings. I couldn't deal with the pain. I thought to myself, you know, the best thing for me to do to cope with that was to have a drink. I'll have a whiskey. I don't drink whiskey, but it sounded like really good. And I'm sitting at a bar and I'm watching the ice melt and the water dripping down the side and every fibre in my body screaming, drink it, right? And there's a part of me going, you know there's a consequence. You know that this isn't going to end in a good way.
And see that voice that was saying that? This is when I'm trying to explain to people how this technique works. It's about separating the real you. That voice you've just heard there that you told me about, that's your right inner voice. That's real. That's the real you. The one who knows better. The one who's always got your back. Your right inner voice has always got your back. If you're going into a dangerous situation, you'll hear it. Be careful here.
The voice of reason.
Yeah. So when you're hearing, you know what's coming here. If you drink that, you know what's happening. That's the real you. The one that wants a better, cleaner, healthier, more loving, reliable, ambitious, creative, fucking healthy, wealthier life by breaking free. You know that. But then My addiction, personally, was getting its own way for 20...
Fuck, it's kicking, don't they?
My beast had been getting its own way for 25 years. It knew what to say to me. It knew how to trick me, how to tempt me, whether it was the shagging, whether it was like fucking, yeah, why don't you do that and fucking get off, you and your bed have a bevy, you haven't done it for ages. Fucking, or whether it was like, you deserve it, you know what I mean? Fucking have a little bevy, you won't go mad. If it's talking to you and you can't recognise it, you think it's you.
You start, what happens is you start to manipulate yourself. You become very manipulative in your own way of communicating, and I understood. So on reflection, I think I've talked myself into bad situations, but sometimes I've gone like, you know what, it's been that fucking bad. Like my journey's similar to yourself. It's never been straight. It's been a bit of a zigzag path. I'm in recovery. I've been clean for nearly 4 years.
Fantastic.
Similar to yourself, abstinence. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs. I don't smoke because I just choose not to. It's not for me. That's not an addiction.
Did you? At what point did you commit to not drinking? Did you try and find, like for me, right? I tried. The reason I didn't break free quicker, and I use break free than clean because I think there's still a stigma around addiction, and I think the word clean, I think sometimes implies that if you're using, you're dirty.
Yeah. And
I think drug addiction, still got that dirty concept. Lots of people who don't understand it think smackhead, thief, house robber, on the street snorting, fucking taking fucking heroin. That's lots of people's concept, and so I try not to use the word clean. I do use it because it's inbred in me. That's what I heard when I was in recovery lots of times. But like, I would have broke free quicker if I didn't. My addiction tried to convince me. I now know it wasn't me that was saying that. My addiction convinced me not to give up drinking. I could drink.
That wasn't the problem.
Yeah, I could drink and not use. I could. And I remember sitting with my counsellor and he went to me, Lee, I can't keep coming here and having these one-to-ones with you until you commit to stopping drinking, because when are you going to learn? Every time you start drinking again, you start snorting every single time. When are you going to wake up? But my addiction did not want me to let go of the ale. It didn't, because it knew. My beast knew if I stopped drinking. So it tried everything. What sort of life you got to have if you don't drink? What about when your kids get married? What about when you're 50? And what about you're glad to have a little bit every now and again? What, you can't have drugs and you can't even drink? You boring cunt. You're not be able to go nowhere. I know now, 4 years on, Bill, and I don't know if you feel the same. Like, I had no social life when I was drinking and using. No. But my addiction convinced me.
It was having a fun time.
Yeah, I now know. All them thoughts, you're going to be a boring bastard if you stop. And I know from people I'm helping, get them thoughts. And I say, that's your addiction, not wanting to let you go. It doesn't want to let you stop drinking, because if you do... Now, did you try and keep drinking and stop using drugs?
No, see, I never really had an issue with the drink. It was more like the class A's for me. I watched my dad drinking, and I promised my mum I'd never drink. I'd say, look, I'm never going to go down that path, he's gone. But I did. I chose another path, but it was with drugs. So it was never really an issue. However, when I stopped taking class A's and I was in a treatment centre, they said to me, you've got to remain abstinent. So I went, what the fuck's that? Is that a drink? I didn't know what abstinence was.
Sounds like one.
Abstinence, so it's like, you've got to be teetotal in a sense. And I had the same thought to yourself, like, I'm going back, like, I was like 30 back then. It was like, life's going to be dull. I'm not going to have any fun. It's going to be boring. I'm going to enjoy myself. Who am I going to meet? Where am I going to socialise?
And you know what, Bill? All them thoughts, right? I think everyone who steps into recovery gets them.
Yeah.
But I learned to treat them as my addiction talking to me, because it was, I knew. If I look back now, people say that to me, say, Lee, what do you replace the high with, Lee? Yeah. And I go, I'm under no illusion what the high was.
Yeah.
Years ago, I did go through that stage of going, what am I going to do if I stop drinking and using? Like, what am I going to go nowhere or do nothing? I'll be a boring bastard. But when I now look at my use, what did I replace the high with? The high of what? Being paranoid and weird and wired and unreliable and not going to work and letting me missus down and letting me kids down. Yeah. That's the high. Mine can't trick me to go back, because it can't convince me that the high was any good. Yeah. It wasn't.
I've had more fun in recovery without using than I ever had fucking using. And people say
it's important that you talk about how good the rewards are, because some people don't.
Have you heard that one before? Like, your best day using is better than your best day fucking like in recovery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. So like, my best day in recovery is better than my best day using.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I could have everything there you want, all the drugs, all the drink in front of me, and I'd choose to be where I am right now. right now.
What I say this to people all the time, and I post every Sunday about the rewards of recovery. They're phenomenal, Bill.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Yeah.
But what like when this lad said to me last week, I was talking to someone who'd lapsed and he'd been 6 weeks free, and he hadn't used or drunk for 6 weeks, and he got all the rewards that come to you quite quickly if you do it properly. I say to people, you can't white knuckle recovery because it'll whip you up. You can't do it on willpower. You need tools, AA, steps, or support, add action, just someone to help you, or recovery people, talk to people, and start understanding how it works. But he said to me, and he asked me that question, how do you like replace the high though, Lee? That's what tricked me to go at, and he'd used for 3 days, and I went to him, tell me about the high then. This was this week, and he just lapsed. I went, this high you're asking me how I replace. Tell me you've just been on it for 2 or 3 days. What was the highlight? He went, what do you mean? I said, well, you go ahead. You said to your bird that you were going to go to your brother's because his car had broke down, which was a lie, so you could go. Then you went, you got a couple of lines, and your addiction was telling you, just have a few with my brothers, and I'll be home in an hour, back to my bed, just have a little go in his and come home. I said, yeah. He went, yeah. I said, so you went there, what happened when you got on it? He went, I went in, someone straight away thinking my bird's going to ring me in a minute. Yeah. Said, what happened then? He went, she rung me an hour later and went, you coming home or what? He said, so I went home and she got on me. I was wired, I was twitching when I got in, like, and couldn't look at her, and she went, you've been at it, haven't you? Yeah. I said, so what was
Telltale signs.
I said, what was the highlight then? He went, terrible. I went, yeah, so what did you do then? He said, I got off then and went to one of the lads.
The girls?
He said, I got off then. We had murder in the house with me missus, and I got off and I was in one of the lads for a day and a half snorting. I said, what was the highlight? What was it like in your mates? He went, I was sat there looking at my phone. My bird kept ringing me. He said, the telly was on volume 2. He said, and I was just looking out the window. I think my bird was going to turn up for 2 days. I went, and you're asking me how I replaced the high? Yeah. And he went, I see what you mean. I said, stop letting it trick you that you're missing out. Because you're not.
Do you know what? You're missing out when you are using, and I'm going to say this, Lee, because it's important, really. It is for me, and I think it will be for yourself, because family's a big thing. You know, for years, my brother who's got autism, I just dismissed him. He was in my way, you know, of me using. I felt embarrassed of him. I'll be honest, I felt embarrassed of him. I didn't want to be a part of his life, and I never even got to know him. And now it's like, he's my best mate. I've got a little boy who's just amazing. You know, I can be in his life and I'm present. This is it, I'm present. I feel blown away by the fact that I can be a benefit to my society instead of a fucking like sucking the life out of it. Because Lee, I know what I'm like when I'm using. I'll fucking rob the eyes out your head, right? I'm a monster, right? I really am. I'll go to any lengths to get what I want. And yeah, I don't live in all that shame. Because shame's shit, right? Yeah. The reality is, I wouldn't be doing things with sound of clear clarity of mind that I would when I'm using, right?
Brilliantly
put. It's just you wouldn't.
Brilliantly
right?
put.
It's simple. So there's people, and I get people who'll be watching this and going, well, do you know, I feel fucking, I've never robbed off my family, but you know, when you're using, right, you're robbing the peace out of fucking your mother's eyes. You know, you're robbing the fucking, you know, the fear that they have to go through. The serenity that you're stealing.
It's brilliant the way you put that, because you talk about it so honestly and it's so vital with recovery. Now, what you're talking about, that guilt, right? So I get this from lots of people who reach out to me, say, how do I get past the guilt, the way I've been, the way I've treated me missus and the kids and blah, 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 blah. That's, your addiction doesn't want you to let go of that. Yeah. It will use your past, your guilt. I say this to people. I said, you're letting that
dictate
dictate you what happens in the future. I said, you can't hold on to that. Now, for me, what I've learned in when finally you break free and you get to that place where you know you can see all that stuff you did, like you've just spoke about, all the stuff I did, the stuff, the arguments, the fights I've had with my missus, I've had the police turn up at the house. You know, I'm not embarrassed to say that now. And like people say to me, what would you say things like that for? Because it helps people understand that if it's happened to them, you're not on your own. We've had blazing rows. It's pointless painting this amazing picture that me and my missus have always been brilliant and got on. We fought terrible. I've ended up in my mum's. I've walked the streets in my socks for miles in the pissing down rain. With like the kids have seen us fight. Do you know, like all that
gives people courage.
But what I did was right, and I learned this from my counsellor and through this technique of rational recovery. I created a box of pain. Now people say to me, do you have to carry that box down with you all the time? I go, no, I don't. But when I really made the decision to stop for good, I went, I've had enough. Every time I get tricked to use with the thoughts, the images, the pictures, yeah, do it, don't go mad, just what you deserve, blah, blah, whatever it was saying, I'm painting, I'm making the picture better. And as soon as I started thinking and talking with it and going, oh yeah, well, it might be early, then the picture got bigger and better. Yeah. And then so as soon as I started interacting with the beast when it was thrown to me, not realising it was the beast, it got control of me. So I believed it and I'd use. But every time I fell for it, none of that picture had happened.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be home early. I wouldn't be out with the kids in the morning. I wouldn't just have a few and be home in bed. I'd always end up in this box. Yeah. This box is a horrible pain. So I fill that box. Some people make a list. I've seen this in my recovery groups. He'd say, go away, make a list of every single solitary bit of fucking pain and shit your addictions caused you. Yeah. The stuff you don't even want to tell me. He said, the stuff you're embarrassed about, the paranoia, the pain, the lot. He said, and call it your box of pain. So when you're first in recovery and you're starting to try and listen for your beast talking to you, and when you hear it, you can recognise it and separate yourself, and it's called shifting to this box. So then you can rationally look and go, yeah, you're saying this and you're painting this, but I'm going to go over here for a minute, whilst you're talking to me, to really see where it's going. And I used that at the start of my recovery all the time. So in the end, my addiction, it got fed up. Because every time I tried to speak or get its brush out, I'd go, I'm on you. I know. Some people call it fast forward in the tape.
Playing the tape forwards, yeah.
Yeah, played the tape forward, shift over here. But that people say to me, oh, you've got to carry that box around with you all the time, like you've just said. No, I haven't. But what you said there, Bill, was you now under no illusions of how painful it was and how bad a person you were. I was. How, let's see, bad a person might be the right word for it, but how you weren't there in so many ways, whether it was your brother, whether it was me for my wife and kids. My kids used to get up and my mates would say, don't go in the back room, because I'd be sitting there on a Sunday night, still drinking, snorting, on my own, right, paranoid, weird, stiff as a board. And my miss would say, don't go in the back room, my dad's not well. Was I there for my kids then? Yeah, they always got what they wanted. If they needed anything, but I wasn't there.
Yeah, you weren't present.
And that's in my box of pain. Does that mean I carry that around with me? Like, oh, like you could say I wasn't there for Joe, or like, no, because I'm so proud that I am now.
And that's it.
And the small things in life now, Billy, are amazing. Just going for a walk, or you spending time with your brother, or the real, like, simple things in life just mean because you weren't doing them. I wasn't doing none of them things. Like, so when you start just living again and being in the present moment and being accountable, reliable, honest.
You know, it's nice to hear people share honestly and have the courage to say, you know, this is how it was, because other people can identify. But what other people don't understand is that if you don't share that stuff and you're not identifying with other people, you're never going to heal.
And that's why I'm so open and honest about it now, because especially my generation, lots of people who reach out to me and say, Lee, I watched your video on Sunday. Yeah. Mate, it's like you're talking about me, or someone will say about the son, or it might be it's no prejudice with addiction. It's mums, dads, young lads, young girls. They all reach out and I speak to lots of them, but they all relate to it because you're telling them the bits no one else will talk about. Because as you must know, all them things, that paranoia, weird, letdown, like not being there, letting your kids down, getting in trouble, arguing at home, fighting, the police coming, whatever it is.
You know, the biggest thing is, though, Lee, is the fear of being judged. Once you stop, right, and for me it was anyway, you know, that self-obsession, everyone's talking about me, everyone's judging me. I had all that fear and all the insecurities that went with it, that I isolated myself from people, and I had to separate myself from society, and then I put labels on myself like I don't fit in. They know. It was only till someone like yourself, who was in recovery, could sit down and go, look, this is the therapeutic value of one addict helping another here.
Oh, it's
I've
huge.
Been there. I know what it fucking feels like. You do it on the Sunday. You do your Sunday recovery thing. Yeah. Look, this is the therapeutic value of one addict reaching out and helping another. I don't want nothing off you, right? Financially, there's no agenda. What's more rewarding is seeing you fucking just come alive.
You've hit the nail on the head. Yeah. Some people say to me, how why'd you do that? Why'd you talk like some of the stuff you say is embarrassing? And I say, but it's true. But it's true, and until people start openly talking about that, because lots of these people who are watching them or listening to us, or when you start talking about the brutal honesty and the brutal, painful things and places and thoughts that you've had, people think they're not alone.
Yeah.
And that's vital. They get some hope. And if you haven't got hope, it's a fucking not a nice place to be.
You're hopeless then, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. And it's not a nice place to be. And hearing people talk about it, who've come out the other side, who've broke free, who are now doing well, who are talking about the rewards. And like, I know all the things I've done over the last 4 years, in particular, my festival, my radio station. I've had that idea for years, never been fitting well enough and reliable enough to actually do it. Rave and fit for the last 2 years. I'm out 5 nights a week all over the Northwest doing it like a rave and fit class.
Brilliant.
I'd have been in bed till Wednesday.
So you must have went through some fucking money as well, like to finance a habit, right? And this is how it is really, innit? To finance a drug habit, you need to fucking spend some money. So the money you're earning from all the jobs that you're doing, you know, you're neglecting your family as well. It's like not only are you neglecting yourself, you're neglecting the household, you know. And like you said, you know, you could. Oh, they never went without. They never done this. But the reality is, they went without the dad. They went without the presents.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I see you now with your son doing a lot of work on Insta and on the DJ, and that must be for you a way of making amends. I see that as an amends.
It's. I'm just so thankful though, and I don't know if you feel like that, Bill. I'm just so thankful. I'm at this place. Yeah. I'm at this place now that I can be me, pre-me, like the real me, who like the loving, thoughtful, reliable, creative, ambitious, like passionate person I was, and not just
transparent.
Yeah, and not just like, and that's the only reason I talk so openly about it. Is lots of people, my generation, they were in the quad or the state or the 051, and they did say keys, and it did lead to them snorting. I get them emails of people saying, Lee, I used to be go to 05 every week. I'm on the verge of losing my missus. Like I haven't seen me, or I have lost my missus, and I can't see my daughter. I've been taken to court. I can't cope.
I'm like yourself, Lee. I do get a lot of people like messaging me and asking me questions, and I haven't got the answer for them. I can only share my experience. Yeah, your experience and their experience is going to be totally different. Your pain is different from my pain. You feel differently from the way I feel. Yeah, you know what I mean. So when they say to me, "How did you do it?" and all the answer I can only come up with is like, I just didn't pick up one day at a time, right? And I led from there, and then I started to reach out. So once you start getting humble, right, because that's what it's humility, getting humble and going, look, I'm fucked here, you know, lad.
And you know what? Dropping the ego, Bill. I had to like, my counsellor used to say to me, Chris, his name was, and he was like, he had my back so much. I look back now and I think, if I'd go missing when I'd lapse and I'd walk away from the recovery group and I wouldn't go back and I wouldn't ring him, he'd knock on my house and say, what's going on with you? Like, he went above and beyond, but he used to say to me, you need to drop your ego. And I'd get a big cob on. I'd say, what do you mean? I haven't got an ego.
Deflated.
Yeah, he'd say, you have. I go, what do you mean? I haven't. He'd go, you have. Why? Do you think it's good to like, and I look back at some conversations I had when I was using in my fucking prime. I'd boast about it to some of my mates. Yeah. We'd all, and they'd all be using. Yeah. I'd ring them on a Tuesday and they'd go, where have you been? I'd say, I was fucking still getting it delivered, you know, fucking Sunday night. Yeah. Like it was good. Like, natural ego.
Like they'd be fucking impressed by what you said.
Yeah, and I'm like, going, still getting it. Fucking, I don't know. I know someone who can get it at fucking 4:30 Monday morning. Yeah. Leave it with me.
Yeah, leave it with me. I'm the fucking man who knows everything. Yeah.
And that's your ego.
Yeah.
And when you strip all that away and you fight back and fight hard and learn and put as many tools in your toolbox, whether that's 12 steps, whether that's the 12 steps and rational recovery, whether that's reaching out for someone online, whether it's just reading books. There's good books on recovery. You know, the book I read about AVRT is called Rational Recovery by Jack Trimpey, and it's all about being able to recognise your addiction when it's talking to you. And that was the final cog for me. It was like, right, and once I mastered it, I started, as you said, getting that length of time. And I don't know if you feel the same, but once you start getting more and more time clean and more time away from the beast, you get stronger, it gets weaker, you can see it for what it really was. Life gets so good, the rewards start coming, you start doing things with your brother, everything, you know, things you've regretted in the past, and like, I'm there, I'm present.
But there's always one thing that I need to be aware of as well, like this for myself, right, is the complacency, right? So there's complacency and there's procrastination, which are two. Procrastination, we all know it's the FIFA time, innit?
Yeah.
You know, and you've got complacency where it's like the FIFA fucking your recovery time, basically.
Yeah.
When I start getting complacent, thinking I'm okay, right, where you were talking about, like, you know, you get further and further along. I've done that before, you know, like 5 years in, before that was here, I'm fucking sorted here. There's no going back. I'll never use again. Bang. I hit the fucking road fucking hard, and I'm back in fucking...
And it's more painful when that happens.
Yeah, because, you know, it progresses even worse.
Yeah, it does. Well, that happened to me when I went 18 months clean or free. You have a word you want to use, and I lapsed.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop again for 18 months. It's like someone had put me back into like 1998.
Yeah.
It's like, how come I've gone that length of time without doing it? And assume, but that's the addiction for you, the beast. Once it gets its claws back in, they're hard to get out again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you're saying. You can never be complacent. But what I've found is, by helping others, I am constantly hearing about that box of pain.
Exactly,
that is my constant reminder, and that's where I can never get complacent. I can go to my box of pain at the drop of a hat. I don't have to look at it. I don't carry it around with me. It's not like something I'm going, oh, I've got this constant like box of stuff I did when I was using, and the paranoia. It's not. But you know what? I've got an automated switch that if I ever need to engross myself in the pain of addiction, I can do it at the drop of a hat. Yeah. And by talking to other people and hearing them and letting them talk to me and reaching out to me.
Of how it was for you.
I hear other people's box of pain daily. Yeah. So that's a big part of recovery for me. And one of the next final steps in constantly knowing I'll never go back is like we're talking today, and we've just spoke about lots of the pain we went through.
Yeah. And it's like there's a positive cliche that I've always like that gets said a lot, is like, you can only keep what you've got by giving it away, right? So your recovery was freely given to you. You didn't have to pay for it, Lee. Like myself, I didn't have to go and pay to get fucking me shit together. You know, I had the choice, make that decision, right? You can do that yourself. So what you're doing now, and it's good, because you're freely giving away what was given to you. You're listening to other people's stories and their box of pain, so what you call it is, and that's reminding you how fucking hard how it was.
Exactly.
It reminds you of how it was, and then you could be like a mentor and go, well, this is what I did. See, I there's a description. There was a guy stuck in a hole, right, and a counsellor walked past, and he was screaming to get out his soul. So he's looking down. He said, okay, I'll talk to you for an hour. Nothing happened, right? He's still in that fucking hole. And then, you know, a doctor came by. He was screaming for help to get out of the soul. She wrote him a prescription for the time, and on his way he went. And then another addict in recovery walked past, and he was screaming for help. And this addict looked down and said, hang on a minute, and jumped in the hole with him. He said, what are you doing now? He said, we're both trapped. He said, no, follow me, I know a way out. And that's that story, right?
Brilliant.
Fucking stuck with me for years. I remember hearing that in one of my first meetings, and I thought, wow.
That's brilliant. I've never heard that before.
No, the way it was like, look, we're in it together. Yeah. Follow me. I've been there before. This is a way out, and this is exactly what
it is. Yeah,
we both do.
And I just get a massive rewards from it. Just not as you say, not on financial. I give up my time to do it, but I do it through passion and like. Yeah. And as you said earlier on, wanting people to get to where I am now, because I can't stress how amazing it is to have your recovery. Yeah. It's amazing. Everything gets better. I say this to people: if you fix yourself, all the shit around you will fix yourself. Lots of people who are depressed and down and anxious and anxiety, the root cause is they're drinking and snorting fucking 2 or 3 nights a week, and that will bring depression and bad mental health. Once you stop and sort that, not everyone, of course, people are depressed for many different reasons, but lots of the time when you're drinking and using, your mental health's not great. You are depressed because things aren't right. Your job, your marriage, your relationship, your kids, all of it's a mess, and so your life's a mess. And once you fix yourself, all these things around you start fixing themselves, and it's so nice because you get the real highs in life, the real ones.
I learned that like when I use, it's because I use on the feeling, right? That fucking comes to me. You know what I mean? There's the thought, right? then it becomes a feeling, then it becomes a consequence. So I'll think about something, and then it'll create a feeling, and that feeling then will lead to a fucking outcome. There's a consequence because I'll think, you know, here's an example, and I've shared this, like, you could sit there and think, is he fucking looking at me? So you're doing his thinking, does he think I'm a knobhead? Straight away you're thinking, does he think I'm a fucking knobhead? And loads of the lads have said that, he must think I'm a fucking knobhead. And the kid's probably thinking about his bed, fucking leaving him. Right, so he thinks I'm a knobhead. So what that's fucking creating is an angry feeling of, and then your ego, and then the pride, and then fuck, I'll go down there and I'll show him who the fuck does he think he's. Yeah. And then I'd see the stuff, but that can manifest in other ways for me. Yeah. It's like, especially, I tell you what, the biggest fucking relapse events for me was like romance and finance, especially fucking women, right? I couldn't cope with the feelings with birds. You know, a bird would leave me and I'd fucking nut or a fucking drink or a fucking drug, and that changed the way I felt. But then it'd be like fucking, it'd be on that fucking spiral of never ending fucking going downhill. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's a lot, there's a lot of different kind of recovery, fucking relapse and processes that we go through, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, I learned that even through in rational recovery and AVRT. I learned that the beast can generate thoughts, it can generate images, it can generate feelings. If it wants to change your mood, like you've just said there, if you start putting words in that lad, who's he looking at? Is he staring over at me? Fucking TV. Like, there's a change of mood, and what will come with a change of mood is
a reaction.
Yeah. So I learned all about that and started listening and really listening for any negativity towards my recovery. I just put it down to my addiction. Everything I heard, whether it was, oh, you're not going to be able to have a bevy again, you're going to be bored. What about when the match is on? What about when your daughter gets married, or your son, or you won't be able to go nowhere, or remember all them mad nights you used to have at your bed, and this, that and the other? That's gone. I'll go. Nah, there's my recovery, there's my beast trying to talk to me there, trying to stop me breaking free. I know I'm on to get, you want to keep me using. No.
That?
But it can generate feelings, and what I find when I'm helping people, sometimes they'll reach out to me when they're struggling. I say to them, don't go missing. Don't let it tell you, I'm not going to reach out to Lee, he's busy, he's shocker. Yeah. That's your addiction stopping you getting help. I said, that's your beast talking to you as well. And this lad rung me one night, and he said to me, this feeling I've got now, he said, I'm going to use, Lee, I'm going to get it. I'm just telling you now, I can't cope with this feeling I've got now. Craving, he called it. Now, I said to him, you're not craving. I said, you're just having an argument with your addiction. And I think was a big turning point for me was knowing I wasn't craving, arguing with myself. I'm not. I know I don't want to do it. I know where it's going to take me. Rationally, me, Lee, knows it's going to end up in that box of pain. I know it is. So why am I getting tempted when I know? Because my addiction's arguing with me. It's talking to me. So you're not craving. You're arguing with your addiction, and it's fucking got you by the balls. And he was going, Lee, no. This feeling I've got now, he said, it can't be no worse than using. It can't be. And that's where that's how bad it can get when you get anxious. Then you think, fucking just have a drink.
It's the obsession then, isn't it? See, when you're in the grip of that obsession, it's like, you know, you've got the blinkers on, you've got a one-track mind, and you're going to do it. I've been down that road, Lee, where if like, no matter, right, people have said to me, Billy, reach out, speak to him. You know, there's a time when you've just gone that little bit too far. Yeah. Right, before you've even picked up that you're not going to stop. No one. But you'll go through that fucking... I'll go through brick walls.
Listen, and that's... With me, that's the place I had to find out how I didn't get to that point, because...
That moment where you stop breathing and go... Inhale, and I separate the men from the boys with the thinking.
And I say to people, look, I'm not saying you go and read the book. You go and it's not just about going to
people used to tell me to get on my fucking knees.
It's not. It's about working hard. There is an element of fight. I say to people, when it's like I say, when you're having a craving, itching, rattling. Some people, these are the words people use to me. I'm fucking rattling my head off at the weekend. I say, no, you're just arguing with your addiction. Your addiction's throwing loads of thoughts in your voice at you. Yeah, do it. Go ahead, just do it. Go fucking this. Your bed's not in. The kids aren't here. Bed's staying out tonight. Perfect time. Whatever it is saying, it's you arguing with it with your addiction. As soon as you can recognise that, you've got a better chance of beating it, because you've got something to fight against. But I call them straighteners. When sometimes I say to people, there's going to be a point in your recovery when you're in Stanley Park greased up having a straightening with your beast. It's saying to you, go ahead, do it. Go on, do it. Your bird's out tonight. The kids aren't back till tomorrow night. You're not doing nothing tomorrow. Go ahead, get it. And you're here going, no, I know I'll end up sitting up. I know she's not back till 8, but I'll end up looking out the window at 5-2. Why hadn't she come in and she'll do me in? And I'll be back at my mum's. I'm on my last chance already. Nah, you won't, you know. Just do it. Like, start at 6 o'clock tonight. You'll be in bed by 11:30. Get up tomorrow. You'll be dead fresh. Have a brekkie. You won't even know when you come in. Oh, no, I know I won't do that. This straightener is uncomfortable, Billy. It is.
I know if I've done all that, Liam. I'm laughing because
and I'm not saying it. Don't make
Yeah.
out to anyone that bit's easy.
Yeah.
But if you start like anything, you
It's
start.
two dogs, innit?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
start winning that battle. It's like anything. You know, if you start learning boxing and you keep going in, you keep getting beat, but you learn, you get better, and you start winning one. Your confidence and you get better. Like a football team keeps getting beat every week.
There's loads of different analogies.
Do you know,
that I
like, it's confidence,
Yeah.
and you get stronger, and the beast gets weaker, and the beast gets quieter until you get control back.
Well, do you know what, over the years, Lee, I've learned, like, I'm now coming up to nearly 17 years in recovery in that area.
Yeah.
So, you know, and like I said, I've had a good 11, 12 years in totality abstinence in that time. And a few relapses on the way, but I've learned, you know, like you said,
what
we're
you're
talking
saying
about that
is so vital that you learn.
that toolbox. You know, I know from the first day when I fucking was self-obsessed, right? I thought I couldn't even open my mouth and talk about what was going on without like fucking feeling like everybody was staring at me. I got to that stage, you know, and I couldn't communicate with girls because I didn't feel fucking worthy. You know, I was comparing my fucking bus pass to people's cars. I was thinking, look, he's got a fucking car, I've got a bus pass here, what's going on? Forgetting that I've been in fucking prisons, fucking incarcerated for fucking decades.
Yeah.
Gets out. And I had to go through that process of the way I felt, you know, because I believe that when you stop using, you become the age you are. Right? So if I was like fucking 17, 18, and I got my shit. By the time I was 30, I was acting like a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Because I was still emotionally immature. I was still feeling, I felt like a teenager. I still fucking behaved like one. I was very arrogant. I was egotistical. And I was masking my insecurities with anger and being very volatile. And I was big. I go to the gym. If I looked fucking big and I looked hard, I had a broken nose, my ear missing, you'd keep away from me. That's it, you know what I mean? And like, you know, like I was scared. You know, I wasn't scared of fucking you. I was scared of the way I'd fucking react and what I'd do to myself and where it'd take me. So it was like that process and the relapses and then the learning. But you know one thing, and this is for everyone out there as well, you know, if you fall and you slip, pick yourself up, dust yourself down, fucking get back on track and just learn from Billy, that, you know.
And it's the one thing I say to people when some people come back to me and say I've lapsed, Lee, I'm devastated. I can't do it. Yeah. I can't do it. They say, and that's your beast talking to you. It's kind of convince you can't, so you won't actively start fighting back. Yeah. That's your beast talking to you. That's your addiction telling you can't do it. You can. You know you can. But learning from your lapses is like, it's vital, because I look back now and I think lots of them lapses were just part of my journey, and I after time I think they made me even stronger.
Well, do you know what's interesting about this topic as well, because we both got different recovery pathways. You know, mine's still 12-step. I've always has been from day one, and you know, I've been through the green and goals, and I've done the step work, and I've learned how to reflect, and I've checked my inventory, and it's just similar to what you're saying in the way, you know, it is, because they say, you know, our illness is centered in our thinking. You know, it's centered in our thinking. We think our way into a bad situation. Yeah. You know, when you're on your own and you're in bad company. All them fucking cliches. I've learned them over the years. They've been instilled into my mind. You know, before when you said, like, I know I won't fucking use again. Well, I would love to say to you now, like, I'll never use again. And I've said that and I've used, and
yeah.
But for me, right, I'll know I won't use today, but this is my pathway.
And you know what, Billy? The only main difference between rational recovery and the 12 steps is that commitment. Yeah. That's the only difference. And that's, for me, like, the only thing I struggled with the steps was but, you know, when I did the steps, don't get me wrong, it was very early in my recovery. Maybe I wasn't ready to stop then. If I'd have done the steps when I finally made that big commitment to go, I've got to change now. If I'd have done that then, it probably would have worked for me. Yeah. Maybe I stumbled on rational recovery just at the right time, but I took a lot from the 12 steps. But I struggled with with the one day at a time and addiction is a disease, I struggled with that because it felt really daunting that I would have to spend the rest of my life with this disease of addiction. I just couldn't. I couldn't buy into that. Now, this is not me saying it's. Look at you.
Yeah.
I've got my mate Robbie, 9 years, clean, free. He's like flying, new career, the lot, all through actively.
Yeah.
The steps. I've got loads of mates, most of them done the steps. But for me, addiction is a disease and taking it one day at a time, it didn't sit well with me because I always felt like, so you're not committing for good, so you might. And I felt like I could give my beast a chance.
Yeah.
And I know that might sound mad to you, but rational recovery was making the big plan, it's called in the book. I will never drink or use again ever. And I had to accept that. I had to accept that, or else I would have lapsed.
But do you want to learn something right, Lee? Right, I've spent time in prison in recovery, right? I've been to prison, like, clean, in recovery. I haven't used, right? I went to prison like that. If you want to get clean, if you want to fucking stare into recovery, right, you'll get fucking clean in a fucking skip. Doesn't matter. If you want it, you'll get it. If that desire is strong enough, right, so it doesn't matter what pathway you take. It was for me in the beginning, it was like, fucking AA, fucking CA, you know, fucking, what do they know? This is the way it was, microwave recovery, fucking piss the beds. That was my way of thinking, right? What that did is that separated me from everyone. I didn't have any respect for anyone other than people in my fellowship. This is what it was, because it was it became a little bit like cliquey, and now it's like a more open. I don't know, you've got to be fucking hell. Like, after like 16, 17 years, like, if people, I worked in the NHS, and I worked at kids who were coming in on relapse, and they weren't interested in 12 steps, they weren't interested in this or that, and I used to do relapse prevention groups, and I said, look, I'm not going to let my recovery cloud my judgments in your pathway, right? You do what you fucking want. If it keeps you clean, if going to church and praying every week keeps you clean, all the best.
Absolutely.
If doing these other these smart recovery groups or this, that and the other, and it keeps you fucking clean and it keeps your family happy and you fucking grounded, then crack on with it, right?
Absolutely.
Right, because in the beginning it was like, you've got to do it this way or it's not going to work. Right, now, so there was a lot of controversial debate.
And what you opened it up with, I thought was brilliant, that there can tend to be like, well, no, this recovery group's better than that recovery group. It's not. And you have got to really want it, Billy. You have. If you don't really want to change, you really want to. None of them will work for you, probably.
I remember years ago, right, and someone said to me, you've got to surrender to win. And I was like, fucking, I grew up on movies that were called No Retreat, No Surrender, right?
Yeah.
But you just don't fucking head. He said, look, Bill, if you're getting in the ring and you're getting battered, right, you know, you're going to have to throw the towel in. He said, but you don't want the towel getting fucking thrown in because you want to get beat up and you'll get back in and you'll get back in. He said, if there's no one in the fucking ring to fight, then, you know, you're not going to fucking lose.
Yeah.
So it was like, there was, like I said, there was all these analogies, and, you know, I started listening to loads of them. And I remember one, rightly, and I'll share it because I'm fucking on that fucking roll now of analogies, where there was a priest, right? Because we were talking about, like, there was a priest in a boxing crowd watching this guy in the ring, and the kid, before he was fighting, got on his knees and started to pray. And the kid next to the priest nudged him and said, do you think that'll fucking, he'll win? That'll make a difference? He said, not if you can't box, no. The simple fact is, if you don't know what you're going into, you know, you can fucking pray, you can do this, but if you're not meeting someone halfway, or you haven't got that desire, all the praying, all the reading, all the fucking writing, I've done it, like, I've wrote about me fucking life, how I felt, I still fucking used. What's fucking wrong with me? You know, I'm passionate about this as well.
And that's, you say so many things that I say, but you say them in different ways, which is dead nice to hear. But that's what I was like. I was like, me miss would say to me, like, she come to the recovery one-to-ones with me. She'd come to the recovery group. She'd sit in me one-to-one, and like, and then we come out of there. And as I say to people who think that they can never get the missus back, or never get the life back, or the job they've just lost, and things won't get better, they're full of that pit of doom and gloom, and the beast and their addiction's just overwhelming them with negativity that they can't do it, and they can't fix it. And I say that to people. I say, like, my missus stopped drinking for me. And I still threw that back in her face. She said, I won't drink with you at home then, that's it, I'll stop drinking with you. It's the ale that's making you, always leading you back. You keep lapsing because you keep drinking. And she stopped for me and I threw that back in her face.
Yeah.
Or in the end with me, words fell on deaf ears.
Yeah.
Like, I got through out, I was in my mum's, and like, I got not to take the kids to school, she wouldn't open the door, she just opened it an inch and say, what do you want? And harsh reality was like, I want to lose the things I love the most, unless I change properly. And like, I knew I could manipulate her, she loved the bones of me, so I could talk her into letting me off. When that ended, and when it finally realised that,
It's not going to happen no more.
I have got. And
you're going to lose a lot.
Yeah, and like, it's how...
It's the disappointments, isn't it?
Like, how quickly you can get to that point. There does come a point, though, Bill, where you go, something's got to change here.
Yeah.
I've got to. So,
and this is like fucking. I know. Like, my relapse has always come because of like a significant event in my life. Like, the last one was because I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. Like, I was on chemotherapy. I was given medication by the doctor. I've been clean for 5 years. You know, he said, take this every 4 hours. I took it every 2. I took it every hour then. You know, I was taking fucking 6. I was taking 10. It was never enough. You know, I've already said that I've got an allergic reaction. I've always said this, an allergic reaction to fucking drugs. I don't break out in lumps and bumps. I break out in handcuffs, pain, fucking misery, loss. I end up in bad places. And that's what happened. And there's no justification. There's no, oh, you could have done this, you could have done that. I was scared. My life was on the line. I thought I was going to die. I picked up. And I've done a lot of things that I shouldn't have done. It is what it is. But what like we talk about now is like, yeah, the disappointment I seen in my mum's eyes. You know, I lost everything, my fucking house, my girlfriend, the lot. And went to prison. You think that's it? Fucking hell, how are you going to come back from that? You're in your 40s, lad. How are you going to come back from that? And to get out and to claw my way back. And the only way, you know, the only reason I'm here today doing what I'm doing is because I'm not using.
Absolutely.
Right? That's it. Stop. There's no magic fucking wand. No one said to me, yeah, Billy, I was living in my man's, right, Lee, on a fucking camp bed, right, whilst on tag in a bungalow with me fucking mum, her partner, my brother and 2 dogs, right? That's it, right? Now, I've, you know, I'm not saying I've got fucking everything, but I've built, and I wouldn't have had that if it had been fucking out there drinking, using, boozing, fucking snorting.
But and this is something I often say to people I'm trying to help them in the early stages of the recovery is, or when they get a little bit further down the line, is it's always important to sometimes I don't, it's not so much a pat on the back, but sometimes you've got to be proud of yourself as well. Be proud of like what you've just said there. You're under no illusion that your recovery has give you all this happiness and this strength.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Like, I weekly remind myself when times are hard, even sometimes with like all this, the pandemic and a lot of my brands and the stress about the festival and losing like loads of money last year with the Fezzy and not knowing if it's going to happen and I'm thinking I've worked so hard at that and me raving fit and I'm like, that's to me missus, what am I going to do? And normally years ago that would have been great for my beast to go, oh, you know what, you may as well just fucking, you're locked down, just have a go. But I'm under no illusion now. I constantly weekly go, you know what, be thankful for all the things you've got because you wouldn't have these.
You know, it is, you know, I am thankful. And I was talking to my girlfriend Michelle. I don't shout out a lot really, so I won't give her a shout out, you all right, girl? But because I flirt sometimes. I don't know whether you do, Lee, right? I flirt with the idea of I wouldn't mind a brandy, right? And I say that to her, but she knows where that'll take me. Yeah. Not that she's ever seen me, because she's never seen me fucking using, right? Yeah. But she knows me history, fucking hell, it's fucking all over the fucking internet. But and she says, but you can't. So she's not there to encourage me to do anything. But it's I do. Don't get me wrong, I flirt with it. Yeah, I don't. Oh, it's fucking. I don't. I sometimes think, I wonder what it'd be like to fucking take a few trips as well. I won't, right? But I'll talk about it with people. Yeah. But it does pop in. It's a thought, but it's not a desire. Yeah. Yeah. And then you'll always win if you've still got control. You're always in control. I remember an advert coming on the telly about 6 months ago for cider. Yeah. And it's the first time, I think, like I say to people, when I lapsed after 18 months all them years ago, I lapsed because I got complacent. I'd stopped listening for the beast. I thought it had gone away.
right? And I realise now that you're actually flying and doing really well when you're constantly actively working your recovery. That doesn't mean you consume by it every day and you've got to be like, right, today I'm clean and I don't have to do this and am I thinking about drugs? No, but you've just always got to be actively aware of the rewards, where you've come, the pain, the box of pain, all that needs to be in there. And I can remember this advert coming on the telly. It was for Bulmer's cider, like, and it come on, and it was like, they make it look fucking great, don't they? It was these like lemons and limes. You've probably seen it, and they're squeezing it into this fucking thingy.
Very attractive.
Yeah, and I remember, this is how automated my switch is though for any beast activity. It's ingrained in me now. Yeah. If that bastard even talks or tries, I just shut it down in an instant. It doesn't get a chance to hold a conversation with me, to start talking me into nothing. Just woomph. And I remember watching this advert and hearing my own voice go, that looks lovely, that.
Yeah.
And in the past, years ago, it would have like freaked me out a bit.
Yeah.
Because I now realise that I'm more than comfortable with having such a petty fucking thought. If that's the best it's got, then great. But years ago, when I'd hear from it and I'd get 12 months under my belt, I think I was going backwards. Yeah. But you're not. You're going forwards when you're recognising it. Because if you can spot it, it can't get control of you. So I remember watching the telly and it going, that looks fucking lovely, that. And I went,
yeah.
Wow, is that me or is that my beast? Yeah. Like, well, it does look nice. Yeah. So maybe it's just me. But I learned to have no grey areas with it. If there's anything to do with a drink,
if it looks nice.
Yeah, if there's anything to do with a drink or a drug, though, I just treated it as my addiction. So I just, at that point, went, I wonder, was that my fucking beast there? Just throwing that little one in there just to see what response it got. And I just jumped over to me box of pain, reminded myself of fucking all the shit it causes me, and it was over with in 30 seconds. Now, if that's the most damage you can do to me. Yeah. So when you're saying, is there the desire there, or is the thought? I never think, I wouldn't mind a drink, I wouldn't mind it, but you've just reminded me about that thought I had when that fucking cider had a bit.
I'd say it's not regularly, and I'm quite grateful for that, to be fair. It's like, they are thoughts, but they're not desires, they're not wants or needs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know, exactly. I know, see, like, we can go fucking on all day long around, like, when you're in the grip of it. But yeah, that's fucking, I've really enjoyed this topic.
So have I, Bill. It's a proper privilege to speak to you, mate. It's lovely to hear you talk so passionately about it.
And what I like to say, because we're coming to the end now, and it's been great to chat with you, is, and it's gone down off, because I wanted to talk about like you growing up and stuff as well, and it's led to this, and it's probably something that we both know about, we can identify with.
And you know what, Bill, like, I'm open.
Yeah.
You know, I knew we'd end up touching on this, and people who were watching this podcast, lots of them will dip in it, lots of my recovery lot, and all the people who actively follow me on my recovery pages to get something out of it, and they will do from this. They will do. And there's a bit of clubbing in there, and a bit of history, and a bit of gang wars that I couldn't mention.
So, right, at the end of every podcast, I always talk about pearls of wisdom. Anything you'd like to say to the people out there? What would you say to a younger Lee coming through those doors?
It's funny, you know, I did a talk to Mode Training. So Mode Training is like a young academy for like up and coming DJs, young like kids DJs. They all do loads of training. It's all government funded. It's an amazing place, and they do like hairdressing and all sorts, and try and get you a career and get you into like an apprenticeship, stuff like that. But I did a talk to all young DJs, and I got asked that question. You know, if I look back now, if I had any regrets I have towards DJing, one big regret would be I never got into music production. As a DJ, and especially now as a young DJ, you need to be making music. All these big stars you see, like your Guettas, like any like I say David Guetta because he's obviously very commercial, but any of them, whether it's your like, you know, your budding DJs now, even your Camel Fats and Dave and Mike, the local lads, or whether it's like your favourite DJ, Sonny Fodera, or whoever it is, they're all making music. Just being a DJ now is, I don't think it's quite enough. You might get
gigs and jobs,
yeah. But if you want to break into that bracket of like, you know, even look at the likes of Martin Garrix or Avicii from years ago. I mean, obviously he's passed away now, but one big song that breaks, and you've going from £100 a night to 10 grand a night. And not only that though, even if it doesn't bubble to that degree, having the ability to play music no one else has got is a massive bonus. If you're there making tracks that's going off and everyone's like, what the fuck's this? And you've made it and you're the only one with it, everyone's going to want a piece of you, want a piece of that track. Then you start remixing stuff for other people. So if you, I wish, I mean, I'm lucky. I've got a studio and a record and a radio station. We've got producers in there, so I can go and step in the studio and do stuff. But the difference is, what I can hear up here, I've got to try and explain to them. I know the exact sound I've got going on up here, and the piano riff, and the build, and the rise, and what happens when it breaks and kicks off, and he can't see that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we get near it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's not just fucking quite doing what I want. And if you can produce yourself, and look, these young producers now, there's loads of them, really good. That's the one thing I'd say, if you want to make a career out of DJing, learn music production as well. Start making some tunes. Just learn Ableton, Logic, just courses you can do. Making your own tunes, and everyone wants your tunes.
Brilliant. And with that, thank you.
Billy, you start.